Hello everyone, and welcome to week 2. I am just lousy with allergies from all the crazy weather we've been having, so I'm going to really try my best to keep this quick, and I'm going to try my hardest not to sneeze right at you. So I'm recording this pretty early in week 1, so I really can't speak to how everybody's coming along in terms of creating their Google Drive folders, sharing them with me, getting all the assignments out of the way, because as is your want, you have until Monday to complete them. But today's my best chance to record a screencast. Believe me, I would rather wait and sound a little better, but here we go. Anyway, I don't let you complain. Why should you let me? Okay, so this is one of our staggered due date weeks. We'll have a couple of these. So you just want to get into the habit of properly budgeting your time. So we have an SA1 brainstorming prompt here in our, I don't know if your Angel interface looks the same as mine, but you have an SA1 brainstorming. I said this last week, and so I'm not going to repeat it too much here. But you want to pick an observation, path as soon as you can, and you're just going to tell us about that path. Okay, so remember, just some people get really confused that your school is no good as an observation site. So pick something else. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create your own thread. You all know how to navigate discussion boards at this point, I'd imagine. Not too many of you are brand new online students. So who or what do you tend to observe? Number 1, the more thoroughly you describe the community or the location, the better. When do you tend to make your observation? Dates and times. If you plan to do it multiple times, I think that's a really good idea. What are your observation instruments? How do you intend to record what you observe? Again, you just don't want to show up at your site without a plan for taking notes. I'll have more to say on that in a moment. And then any questions or concerns that you have. So the question, that number 4 is meant to kind of leap into your peers' responses. So answer that. Answer those 4 relatively brief prompts by Wednesday the 25th, and then by the next day, Thursday, respond to at least 2 peers' posts. And so hey, if you have a better strategy than post and reply to 2 of your peers, my goodness, I would love to hear it. It's so entrenched in online education that it's quite literally built into how I am required to grade my online classes. So if you have any ideas, or if there are people that you know somewhere else far away that do anything else besides post and respond, I would love to hear about those people, just because I feel like we can all do better. But till that day, we have to jump through the hoops that are presented to us. Okay, so that'll give everybody, me included, an idea of your observation plans. And I'll take this opportunity to once again remind all of you that I would love to hear from you through email about your plans for observation, where, when, and how. Also, I'd love to hear about any questions that you have about the assignment or about what it means to conduct an observation. You get good at conducting observations in this essay, it will pay off in the research essay that we work on later on this semester. So anyway, by Monday the 30th at 9 a.m., and hopefully you'll get a sense of the rhythms of this class. I just want to make sure this link was still working. This is a really good length. You can see it's got, for an educational video, almost 17,000 views are pretty good. So I would like to make videos on my own. I'd prefer to, but this one's really good, and it's just it's a guy talking into a PowerPoint, and it's pretty effective. So make sure you take time for that. And hey, it's not me. So you don't have to listen to me for that one. How lucky for you. All right. I have some materials that I don't know, you'll at least read them. Probably not a bad idea to print them out. This is the most visually engaging handout. No, it's not, but it's meant to be practically helpful. You have to bring something away from your observation site. You have to bring something with you. Okay. And really, notes, field notes, they can take any form. Handwritten notes, free-form, narrative in nature. Handwritten notes, spatial, categorical. That's by far my strong preference, is to handwrite notes and to filter them through categories that I sort of write out ahead of time. Students have had success typing on site. I think typing is just a little more, it requires a little more cognitive, attention than handwriting does, but maybe that's because I'm, 40 years old. Then, of course, recording materials is great, but then everything you record, you have to go home and write up and transcribe anyway. So it's not like field notes can't be just you recording your observation site. I do have students that are really good at, drawing, and so their field notes can often be very sort of visually engaging. What else can I tell you besides I say too much? trying and experimenting with different strategies is by far going to be the best strategy, because chances are many of you haven't done observations of sites or communities just yet. So as a result, you don't know what you're good at yet, kind of like the writing process. So my biggest piece of advice is to write it all down. Write down as much as you can. If you come back with sort of a half-considered bulleted list of stuff that you kind of saw, your paper's going to be so hard to write. So the more you write down, the more you record, the more raw data you have to sort of filter through, and that's a good thing. You want lots of raw data. So you want to also kind of filter what you see through your own perspectives. And so as a result, what did you use? What surprised you? What did you find yourself focusing on? That sort of thing. What larger points could you make based on your observations? And so, I'm trying to get you to, jump forward into, thinking about your plans for the paper itself. It's really never too soon to do that. I learned about Spradley and more specifically Robson in graduate school. I had to do a lot of secondary and primary research in graduate school, and if you go to grad school, chances are you will too. And when I learned about primary research, one of the cooler things I was able to learn about was these 9 dimensions of descriptive observation. I think they really do hit most of the things that you probably should be looking for. So I'll let you just, I could send you the actual research, but that doesn't sound too exciting. So you have space, actors, activities, objects, acts, events, time, goals, and feelings. If you can record all those or versions of all those, your paper will be so rich in its descriptions and will be so useful to not only you writing the paper, but to me reading it. It's my favorite. There are plenty of other observational strategies out there, and if you know of any, or if you'd like to recommend any to me, please, I'm all ears. But for my money's worth, this is what I've come away with as pretty useful stuff. I'm sure there's a digital element to this that I'm probably neglecting in some way, in terms of conducting primary research, using more digitized devices. But that's just kind of going to be the way it is until I take a refresher course in primary research. So sorry. So there's the field notes. I'm going to talk probably more about this next week, but this Essay 1 tips and suggestions is just a way to help you. There's tips for the observation. There's tips for the essay itself. Plan your observation. Really, really good advice, I think. It's not really coming from me. This is Lincoln and Guba, their book, Naturalistic Inquiry. I'm in my office. I'm looking at it right now. It's never very far from me. It's kind of the, it's the Bible, so to speak, of primary research, or at least of conducting sociological observations. So plan your observation, visualize it. This is a good one. What do you think is going to happen? What do you expect to happen? That's always something that you can kind of jot down ahead of time and then compare with what actually happened. Stay out of the way. I would not interact. Some students never get this idea and they go up and start interviewing people. Your goal is to be invisible. I know that's not possible, but in your observation, you want to be, you don't want to disrupt the site any more than you can. Then you have to, I guess. Sketch out the layout site. That's an interesting idea, I think, that, so you get a sense of the location and, where the corridors of, busier traffic are. Write down as much as you always say. Ignore your bias. Be willing to learn what the observation wants to teach you, don't go in there looking for what's called a confirmation bias, which is I expect to see preteens on their cell phones, and if that's all you're looking for, that's all you'll see. So you'll be surprised at who uses their devices and in what context. So try to ignore your bias. Don't go in with a ton of preconceived notions. Write down as much as you can. Keep your ears open. Dialogue and conversation, those are really what are called the critical incidents of observations. So again, different note-taking strategies. I'm not going to get into these. You can read them on your own. Context maps, chronologues are kind of cool. Taxonomic notes, that's my favorite, where you place all your observations into specific categories, like the ones that I showed you on this document here, the 9 dimensions of descriptive observation. Write down as much as you can, write it all down, but I'm not trying to be repetitive, but it's important. And then try to keep track of your impressions, like what kind of surprised you, what weren't you surprised to see, what were you surprised to see, that sort of thing. First impressions are a great way to leapfrog into analysis. And I would also say at the end of every observation, jot down questions for the next. At the end, plan the next. I'm going to type this up. that's I think planning your next one, if you are able to go to observation, conduct your observations twice, you'll come away with a lot. Okay, so I'll talk about the Essay 1 tips hopefully next week, or you can read it in your many leisure hours. So sharing your field notes. So you're going to conduct your observation hopefully over that the weekend before this is due. Although I have had ice storms happen, I've had weather and work schedule, so I can be a little flexible when Invention Journal 2 when I read it or grade it. You just have to ask me, and I'll make that a little bonus Easter egg for the screencast. So share your field notes. I have some examples. You have to type up your field notes. You can scan and upload your field notes as long as I can read them. And here are some examples of successful ones. I'll let you click through to those. But the minimum 4 pages. I know when you're trying to game me, and is it going to be so bad for your Invention Journal grade? No, it's not. But it'll kind of come back to you in a karmic kind of way when it's time to grade your essay. I would guess. And then we have a couple textbook readings, drafting, and then obviously the chapter on observations, which I've kind of talked about a little bit today in the screencast, and also exploring the fields. These readings will all be important not only when you write this essay, but when you write your future essay. So the sooner you read these chapters, most definitely the better. And then I'm already going to post some sample essays, because some of you will, by the time you're watching this, will probably have done at least one observation, and you may be ready to hit the ground running with your essay itself. Boy, I hope that's the case for many of you. So there's some samples in there. I'll talk more about those next week. So yeah, I think that's it. I am always available to answer your questions and concerns. I'm always an email away, and I can't wait. Many of you know that already. I can't wait to prove it to those of you that are new. So I look forward to helping you progress through this course, and I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will talk at you soon. Bye now.